So yeah, why we decided to have Mediabridge. So basically, the idea came that in many underreported areas, journalists are ignored, and some of them, the most critical stories go untold. So we have experienced a lot of stories basically never ending in Europe from regions like from countries like Yemen and other closed countries where it's very difficult to have any reporters on the ground. And since we as IMS operate in many conflict countries, we have lots of partners on the ground. So the second, that was business model for media outlets are broken. So we want to create a business model for them to be more sustainable and functional. So that their journalism is being paid. Then current methods of foreign reporting are imperfect, and COVID has accelerated these trends. So how we are going to do that? Mediabridge makes it easier and more accessible for media outlets to collaborate regardless of location, with a special emphasis on elevating stories from underreported regions. Through Mediabridge on-ground media, which is the local media basically, and collaborating newsrooms, usually the European media or Western media, co-produce investigations and hold companies, politicians, and organizations accountable for their actions. So the main priority basically of Mediabridge is, of course, investigations. We can also look into the stories and breaking news, but the main point is investigation or in-depth stories. For collaborating newsrooms, often in the West, Mediabridge will provide high-quality content at a lower cost, which will mean that European media would not necessarily have to send their journalists and reporters on the ground, and sometimes it's even not possible. But having partners on the ground, they will be able to get the necessary documentation and content. And for on-the-ground media partner, often in the Global South, Mediabridge is a way to get stories with international interest published outside their own region, as well as increasing income for them, because they have lots of stories and it will get them, the stories will be paid, or at least costs can be shared for the research, and their stories will have a chance for impact. So Mediabridge, who is behind? So we are 3 different organizations, 2 non-profit and 1 for-profit. It's a Danwatch, a Danish award-winning independent media and research center specialized in investigative journalism on global issues. IMS, an international non-profit organization, an NGO, working with media partners, supporting public interest journalism in countries affected by armed conflict, human insecurity, and political transition. We work in more than 30 countries across 4 different regions. And IndieFrame, this is our for-profit partner, a private company, an independent digital distribution platform, creating a direct link between the media and the independent photographers, video journalists, and on-site smartphone reporters. They bring content creators and media outlets together. So these are the 3 organizations that got together and applied for funding. And our first funding we got from Google DNI. So this is how we are developing the idea for Mediabridge. And our mission is to facilitate remote collaborative journalism, offering a new model of foreign reporting, supporting on-ground reporters. The Mediabridge community of independent professionals can jointly elevate stories with global impact from underreported regions and thereby share untold stories. So this is our common mission. And who can be a partner on Mediabridge? It's we can have 3 different partners. It's if you are a collaborating newsroom in the West, in Europe, but also actually inside or on the ground in different other regions, seeking a reliable partner in a country or region unknown or inaccessible to you. If you are a media outlet on the ground, often in emerging countries with a good story of public interest, but no outlet to bring it to an international audience. And if you're a donor looking to create impact in a world of COVID, investing in Mediabridge will bring life to important stories, which will else be untold. So these are 3 different partners that we are engaging with for the platform. So Mediabridge platform, how it looks now. This is the platform, and the access for collaborating rooms looks like this in the picture. So there is a possibility to create assignments as a collaborating newsroom or European media. Right now we mainly engage with European media to start with. And so they are able to create an assignment to get partners, from different countries if they are interested. Let's say it's Myanmar, or I don't know, Belarus or Azerbaijan, or another country where we have partners. See pitches for collaboration from media on the ground. There is a possibility for encrypted chat when you decide to start collaboration and say, yes, I'm interested in this assignment or a pitch. For collaborating room, and the virtual newsroom is under development and will be also available in the nearest future. So as for access for media on the ground, it looks like this. So you can see assignments from collaborating media. You can create pitches for sale and collaboration. So sometimes you have a story that has been published, but it has a potential to be sold to European media. There is a possibility to sell the story, or create a collaboration pitch where you have an idea, you have done some research, you have documentation, and you are looking for partners in Europe. And the same, the virtual newsroom will be available in the chat. So this is very simple for now, but there will be more features coming up later on. But for now, it looks like this. So I think I will give a word to H.Grunnet, who is our media advisor and the editor of the platform. So to take it forward and give you some examples of what we already did on the platform journalistically. So please, Henrik.
Thank you, Koha.
I can continue the presentation and just say when you are ready.
Okay, thank you very much, Koha. I just a few words about myself, because I have a background as a commissioning editor with both of the two public service stations in Denmark, TV2 and DR, and I used to be like the ones that Tina was describing before, one of these European editors who thought that we were the only ones who could actually do stories, and if anything happened, we need to fly someone out and do some parachute reporting, because there was nothing happening there. And then I changed to IMS, which is like Koha was describing, an organization that supports media in conflict countries. And all of a sudden, coming out there and helping with building up capacity, I found out how high the quality actually is from local media, but none of that actually reaches the European media. So this was the background for applying Google for funds to say, okay, this could actually both make it cheaper and more direct on the spot for European media. So those media outlets we want to work with are trusted media outlets in these conflict countries that the European media does not really have a knowledge about as it is now. Koha, do you push?
Mm-hmm.
So that is also the problem for the international media today, is that financially it's getting more and more expensive to go somewhere and do the reporting from. So you might ask, why is it not just done by local journalists? Push. And at the same time, when you have less circulation, when you have the social media taking the income, as we see, you have fewer journalists, and you actually also have fewer exclusive stories that you can live from. And especially, like Jakub was talking about, in these days with COVID-19, so what we see is things happening in the US, because that can come to us, and then it's our own struggling with vaccine, with what people are doing, and that's almost it. Instead of a lot of interesting stories still going on, but since the European reporters cannot travel there, it's like it's not going on at all. Let's go for the next one. So we have a broken business model. Next. And we have a need for the stories. They are not reaching us, and that is a problem for the media and the global South. So this is the background for the collaboration as such. And another thing that the international media could do with some of these stories, our partners, for instance, in Myanmar at the moment, they have a gold mine of stories that they cannot put their own name to, because that would mean they would go straight to jail. But when we get this up and running for real, there will be a way to get these stories out also for European media without having the name, because we guarantee the anonymity. Yeah, next. And price-wise, of course, it's cheaper. This demands a lot, also like Tina was saying, with fact-checking. It demands that our name, that we can guarantee for this. And I also have to say that we are running into the same problems that people say, why should I trust this? And therefore we are building this up with having a lot of verification tools into the platform. But it is really where we need to do a lot of work, and we cannot just get that done in 1 year. The other thing is that we have also realized that the best stories are stories where European consumers somehow can have an influence. So that means that if we go to garment factories in Myanmar and we do stories with local media there, of course, it's the European consumers who are buying things from Myanmar, and that's why an investigative story on how the laborers are being treated actually has an impact when it's a German or it's a Danish company that's out there and getting the benefit. And in the end, we are getting the benefit from people working that hard. Let's take the next one. So here with Frontier Myanmar, that was one story we got through. Then there was another one with the Spiegel that again was from Myanmar and showing how things are being done, and where this local helped a lot. That we had the reporters there. Mm-hmm. So that's the conclusion. I think we should just go on. Mm-hmm. This is the network. These are the countries where we, from IMS, we have local partners. We are being funded by Scandinavian donors and some from OSF also, and now starting with getting EU funding, so we can actually support media in all these countries. So that's where the local network is. And next. And while our startup tech company is developing the platform, we're doing handheld collaborations. That means that we have to be the brokers in this, me and a colleague. And as Tina was saying, it's not an easy task. It demands a lot of efforts. It demands a lot of trust. And it's even more difficult when you cannot sit eye to eye with people and actually explain what this is about. You have to do it through this little screen. But we have a few projects so far, and it's growing, but it will take time. So one of them is with the Danish media Zetland, connected with the Iranian exile media called Samaneh, which was a story about how Iranians, because of the situation they are in, they're selling their kidneys through Instagram. And here's another story coming through Arab reporters for investigative journalism in Jordan, together with Grunett reporter in Berlin. And it's a story about, again, it's German aid coming through and actually helping companies that do not follow any rules. So we have young people who are getting killed through the work they're doing. So let's go for the next one. And I can just mention with that took 2 months of fact checking also from the German end, but it was working. It came out, and this was with Libération, and again together with Arish, about COVID-19 has been abused by power holders in Arab in 4 different countries. So that went out in Libération in France. So these are a few of the examples we are working, but I really looking forward to have the discussion on how we can get this collaboration to work as good as possible, because we all agree this is the future, and this is a way to get respect to local reporters also. But of course, there are really some challenges that we have to get past.
Yeah, I think I would like, sorry, Darina, I would like just to add a bit to get an idea how we actually also are constructed. Basically, we are we have 2 global editors. It's Henrik and Jesper, Henrik from IMS and Jesper Grunett from Danwatch. And also we have engaged with several regional editors, and we have one for Eastern Europe, and in Eastern Europe, many of you would know Oleg Khamenok, who is our regional editor for Eastern Europe, and then we have 2 regional editors in Africa, one in Latin America and in MENA region, and also we are now looking also for a regional editor in Asia. So these are the people who can also vet the media that we probably don't know. So we can also check them up and vet who is coming onto the platform. So in case it's not our partner that we know, we need to vet them, of course, to make it safe and secure for all of us. So that's basically a bit of add-on.
That's what actually I was going to ask.
Okay.
Yeah, I remembered that story that you have the regional editors, and I thought that it is actually a very smart way to fact check, because as Tina said, you know, we don't trust people who we don't know, but we also kind of trust people who, you know, who people we know trust. And that's how we can kind of crack it, right? So we have this trusted circle of people, and they can tell us who to trust, and we kind of do that through their hands. That's great. That's a great solution.